Okay, what is going on, everybody? Cam here, and guys, this is the second journey video. Still haven't really put any thought into what I want to call these update style videos, where I'm just kind of going through my week, going through my thoughts. Again, in my last video, I mentioned I've been recording, really raw videos where I just speak absolutely what I am thinking, no holding back. And I named that kind of album where I've been saving those videos, The Journey. So, maybe I just call this The Journey, or this series of videos, The Journey. And funny enough, I recorded one last week, pretty much a week ago yesterday. And it's just easy to record these. Obviously, it doesn't take a lot of preparation to come on here and speak on the experience you just had throughout the week, or with a business interaction or whatever. So this is really the second video that I'm recording in this string of content that is going to be coming onto the channel. Really more focused into 2021, but I'm just trying to get a roll on things here before we hit 2021. I know a lot of you guys, especially entrepreneurs out there, now's the time to be planning for what you want to do. Like, come Jan 1st, it's go time. It's not plan time. So I know I've been thinking a lot about, where I want to put my focuses, which I'm going to get into on this video. And so I'm sure you guys are. And so maybe, this can help you guys out with how I'm thinking about things, and also just what's been going on, because this week has been a busy week. There's been a couple things that I wanted to chat on that, is really interesting from an entrepreneur side, startup side. Obviously, we got the e-commerce business that is moving and grooving. It's quick, man. Like, things are moving quick, and I love moving quickly because it keeps me on my toes, it keeps my team on the toes, and progress is made. It's exciting. So, guys, in this video, I'm gonna go over the power of routine. Not really like too in depth, but just like my take on it and what I felt this week. And I had actually kind of a realization, more so just like a reminder to myself that, hey, like, routine's important. So gonna go over that. Gonna go over updates on Above Club. So we got some cool updates with funding, some workarounds there. I haven't really talked that we were looking for funding, but I'm gonna speak on that. So we got funding, and then on my personal side, or on the other side of Above Club, I got some exciting updates here with what I've been doing to cash flow and keep myself kind of afloat. And then, yeah, I think that's it. So to dive into things, guys, first and foremost, please, if you want to see a lot more health content geared towards entrepreneurs, if you want to hear, raw behind the scenes experience, thoughts, perspective on starting an e-commerce brand, a serious e-commerce brand in 2021, from a 23-year-old with 3 other partners, go ahead, subscribe, like the video. Even if you're just enjoying what I'm talking about, hopefully you're getting value from it, to be able to not go make those mistakes or take the route that I'm going down while starting it. Because I think I'm doing it in a pretty proper way. I've actually just come across, which could be the thing that's going to keep me, cash flowing, cash positive from a personal finance side while we're growing the Above Club, which coincidentally enough seems to be like running another business. So lots going on this channel, like lots going on, and it's cool because I can bring this stuff to you guys, and I love being able to go and do that, because that experience I'm now able to internalize, digest, and spit it back out here so you guys can experience this. So just like and subscribe. Now, to get into things, guys, Above Club. Man, Above Club is moving and grooving, and I love it. There's a bunch of things going on with it, but ultimately the one thing that I really love is how the team is working with each other. So we have, myself and three other individuals involved in the business. And the big thing with anyone that's starting, like four founders, quote unquote, 4 people that are starting from the baseline, A, right off the bat, your equity's diluted, but then B, it's easy to let the other individuals on the team, just do everything, and everyone can kind of just like half-ass things, because they're like, oh yeah, like, so-and-so is gonna have this, or so-and-so is gonna have, do that responsibility. I don't have to do that. And so the cool thing about, where I'm at, because I'm, working or titled, I guess, quote unquote, as a CEO, I'm looking at everyone's positions, everyone's strengths, everyone's weaknesses, and their skill sets, and saying, okay, how can we effectively use all four bodies and all four skill sets effectively with minimal overlap? And if the overlap is there, it's who's leading, who's supporting, right? So we know those roles, to get the most out of it. So it's a 1 + 1 = 3 situation, okay? So that's been really cool on my end, because I've been growing into that and really learning how to make the team function, like a 4-person team function effectively, because it's very different from having one person lead or one person as founder and 3 employees. It's very different, because these employees, they're getting paid, and if they're not doing it, like, they know they can get in trouble, they know they could get fired. With 4 founders, like, there's nothing, it's on their shoulders in a sense, so everybody has to lead themselves to a degree. And so as myself leading the leaders, there's some cool things going on with that. So that's been one thing, like, for myself, really, owning up that leadership role and taking 110 responsibility for everything that's happening in the business, making sure we're all in line. That's been cool. So some of those things are, again, in my last video, I talked on how we're moving to Shopify. We launched on WooCommerce for various reasons I won't get into. We're moving to Shopify, and that flip, like, we only had like a month to do so, right? We're in the midst of it. We needed to make sure that everyone was doing their role properly. And so we're in the midst of that. Things are going really well, but we needed to, like, really define who's working on what, and making sure that that's enough work for them and not overloading them, and any overflow can be dispersed evenly. So things are moving really well on that. We're set to launch Jan 3rd, probably Jan 4th. But the bigger play of taking 110% responsibility is the funding. We didn't think we were gonna go with funding. We thought we were gonna stay, I wouldn't call it bootstrap, because we're still bootstrapped in a sense. We're not giving up equity, we're just taking a loan. And so we're ending up going with funding, because we figured out that the loan we can get at 8.4% interest from a company called Futurepreneur, paired with BDC, we're gonna be getting ourselves $45,000 funding to get inventory, and then pay a big chunk of that's going into marketing for advertising and whatnot. So that whole play, someone's got to own up to that. So I've gone through, built the entire business plan, and if you're the leader of your business, whether you're the sole founder or you have another team member or you have multiple team members, like, this is the shit you got to be doing, because if you don't know the inside and out of your business, you can't help everyone else in your business navigate properly. You can't be the one when the vision's murky. You can't be the one to clear that up for everyone and keep everybody sharp and say, like, get everyone back motivated and focused on what the goal is if you don't know your business inside and out. So I put together the entire business plan myself. I've put together the entire cash flow statement, 2-year cash flow statement myself to submit to Futurepreneur. So I've had that. We ended up submitting it, and we had to give our personal credits, obviously, because it's a loan. And unfortunately, we didn't get approved because of 2 of our partners that went on the application, didn't have that great of credit. I luckily was passed. And it was awesome, because they worked with us and said, hey, if these 2 partners come off the application, which means they have to come out of the corporation, they have to come off the bank account, not even be associated with the business, you can technically hire them back, but not like ownership. We'll give you the funding, because Cam, like, you, with your credit score, we can give you up to the full 60, which that's what they give you, or can give you. And so all of this week was going through all that, because there's another part to this, was going through all that. I was, handling all that, making sure we had everything in place, restructuring all of the business plan, all of the cash flow statements, so it looks like I'm the sole owner. And with that, we had to come up with a decision. Do we go to the lawyer? And this is key, guys. If you guys are incorporating, if you guys are doing anything like that early on from a legal side, it costs money. Be prepared. Going into a corporation costs money to set up, okay, strictly from the fees. In Canada, it costs about $380 to set up. Plus, if you're not doing it by yourself, which I wouldn't recommend, you have to pay either a service, which we used owner.co the second time around, or an actual lawyer. So the lawyers that we were about to go work with to pull the two partners off of the corporation was probably gonna cost us $1,000 to pull off, and then submit the plan, and then put them on again, and our third partner that we still gotta put on. So that'd probably be another $1,000 to $1,300 to put them back on. So it'll be in the hole around $2,000 or $2,300 just to get this loan. So we're like, guys, like this, it almost, we're gonna be upping our interest rate or our cost of, the loan quite a bit. So what are we gonna do? I ended up finding a service that we can get incorporated with a new shareholders agreement for $600, and they offer a $300 rebate when you open up with a bank, their partner bank. So we did all that. I put all that together. We now have two corporations that it ends up, it's gonna work out because one's gonna be a holding company once we go into the supplement side of things down the road, which we will. And then the other one's just gonna be for our main business, for the products that we expand out, obviously starting with Red Light. So all of that to be said, we have two corporations now, and we haven't even broke like $10,000 in sales, which is funny, but that's entrepreneurship, like being resourceful, seeing how you can get around these loopholes. And it's not always the prettiest, it's not always the most straight line, but that's what it's about. Is like, hey, we need $45,000 in funding because it makes more sense for us to get inventory in the warehouses. Plus we're shipping from China, drop shipping right now. Chinese New Year comes, our production would completely stop from February onwards. Not February onwards, but February, pretty much like almost the whole month of February for Chinese New Year, and we would be out. So that's why we did that. And so why we actually went forward with the funding, and I'll get into this, is yes, the Chinese New Year thing, but that wasn't the initial flag that said, hey, we should get this funding. We realized that by getting this funding at 8.4%, we can then buy enough units at once to lower the cost per unit, get it shipped to a warehouse, and then have it at the warehouse and have it reshipped again, pay the 8.4%, and still be at a cheaper rate than if we were to ship it directly per unit, drop shipped from China. Now we have all of our units branded, all of our units with user manuals on them, and we have the faster shipping with 2 to 3 day shipping out of fulfillment centers in the US and Canada, with our loan already paid back per unit that we sell, and 2 to 3% cheaper than if we were to just go from China. So that was the first thing. We're like, it makes no sense not to do it. Let's do it. We'll take the hit, the 8.4% hit on the marketing. We just need to get better ROAS off the hop. That's cool. But getting that marketing money, now we have about $25,000 or $23,000 to spend on marketing. Now we can move and groove, test, optimize right off the bat. We're not struggling. We're not feeling like we're stressed out if we misspend $1,000, right? Because we have a good cushion to work from across like 2-3 months before we start seeing returns. Plus, now we're not worrying about cash flow issues, about getting new inventory. Okay. So that's what the week's been about. I've been, running around doing all this not like partially admin stuff, but partially like the finances, the structure of the business. And that's important stuff, man. It's important stuff. And this is where, having a team is really powerful, because you can pull yourself out, work on this stuff, get this stuff done to move the business forward, and still have your team working on the actual business to grow it, to get where it needs to be. So in our case, we can launch Jan 3rd, Jan 4th. So that's Above Club. Exciting week. But on that note, I wanted to talk about routine. I wanted to talk about the power of routine, and really short-term routine isn't needed, okay? And I know a lot of you guys are thinking, oh, like I don't have a routine and I crush. Like I just get up and I just start working, whatever. I have a coffee, start working, no problem. And trust me, I've had some of my best days without having a routine, but I've also had some extremely, extremely good days with my routine. Here's the difference. In weeks even, like I had a really good week this week. I got a lot done. I haven't even talked to you about the other 50% of what I've been doing this week, besides the finance and besides the article writing. Let me back that up. To go a day, to go even a week without having routine is doable. You can get so much done. You can be so motivated in the now that you can get shit done, and you can just be so in the zone because you're being driven by that purpose, that deeper, driver, that North Star, that you're just gonna get shit done, okay? You can do that for a few days, you can do that for a week. Heck, you could maybe even stretch a full month of doing that. But let me tell you, by the end of this week, I woke up this morning on Saturday, and for me, Saturday is no different than the week. I was chilling, I got up, I moseyed down, had the coffee, had the whatever, because that's what I was doing all week. Because I know I was just gonna sit down and work. While that's great, it deteriorates your discipline. It deteriorates those mental, like on and off switches that are extremely important for someone that has so much on the go. That has, whether it's with one business or multiple businesses, you need to be able to be disciplined to start and stop exactly when you said you're going to make sure you're getting everything or putting your hand on everything that you need to throughout the day. Routine, long term, wins every single time. Someone that has a routine is going to do 10x the amount of work versus someone that doesn't have a routine over a 3-month period, and then it gets more evident over the year, over the 3 years, over the 5 years, over the 10 years, okay? Unless you're the Elon Musk, okay? That it has next level fucking motivation to get to Mars, right? There's not too many people like Elon Musk. So unless you're bullshitting yourself and saying, I'm like Elon Musk, get real and understand how the human body works, understand how the mind works, and understand that you need to keep yourself in these airtight blocks throughout the day. And if you don't, you let yourself slip. I'm telling you, like this week, as much as I got shit done, I can feel myself slipping by the end of the week. I can feel myself, getting looser on transitioning between things. I can feel myself wasting more and more time in between that transition. I can feel myself, wanting to stay up longer and, sleep in because my routine isn't there. So guys, I'm telling you that, and I'll continue to harp on this and preach how important routine is. And I'm actually gonna have a lot more videos. I already have some, check out my videos on routine, but I'm gonna have a lot more videos, really diving into the crux of what routine is, how to incorporate, how to build a routine based off of you, your lifestyle, your personality, and what I do and all the components of a routine. So just know, guys, if you're not checking your routine and you're not checking your morning and daily habits and your nightly habits, you got to. You just have to, especially in a noisy world like this, especially in a world where, every entrepreneur is doing, 3 to 7 things daily in terms of skill sets, right? So that's that. This is running 19 minutes. Hope you guys are getting some value out of this. Again, like and subscribe, please, please, please. 2020, lots of content coming. Guys, so the last thing here is what I've been doing on the cash flow side, okay? What have I been doing on the cash flow side? And it's crazy how the world works, man. It really is. So about 3 weeks ago, I think it was 3 weeks ago, I started working with this guy, John Dewar. He's from Peterborough. He's ran a successful business for 20 plus years. I think it's 22 years now in Peterborough selling used cars. Done an amazing job marketing themselves, building a brand, building a good reputation around the area. And listen, I sold my car to him. I mentioned that I did Google ads, and this was like 2 months ago. He hit me up saying, hey man, love for you to help me out on some Google ads. That's now transitioned in over a 3-week period into helping him out with so much more. And so we're right now in the works of developing a potential completely new business, buying the existing business, bringing it into this new business model, and running with it. And this could cash flow, man. This could cash flow really well. So I won't get into it too much, but it's crazy that from my perspective that I can cash flow from another business or from another service that I'm offering, because like I can still build my skills that I want to for the Above Club in another area that's actually going to allow me to cash flow early to then be able to sustain myself, build Above Club into what it needs to be, and then eventually like have this delegated to the point where I'm just the vision on this thing. So I guess what I'm trying to get to on that is when you're starting up your own venture, I wouldn't be discouraged from launching or buying into another business to fund the other business. And it sounds crazy to say, but there's so many service-based businesses that are extremely lean, heavy on the cash flow, and profit from day one kind of thing, right? And that's almost every service-based business. And if you can do that, if you can get 1 or 2 clients, in my case, I got 1 client and then it evolved into this buying an existing business with him, because John's going to finance it. He's going to buy the tech, buy the team, and then I'm going to run it. If you can get into service and then, potentially get into a whole other business here, and then eventually have that to the point when it's cash flowing a decent amount, bring someone in, because again, if you're the leader, right? And this is where I see what I'm doing with this. I'm going to bring it in, build the systems, okay, get it to a good cash flow point, get it to a point where we know the vision, get the team in there and be the leader of the team. And like, that's what you got to be doing. You got to know how to do everything, but ultimately your entire mission as the entrepreneur and as the CEO of a business is to continue to build systems and build like humans and team members to allow the system to evolve into itself and to grow into itself, and you can continue to pull yourself out of that business, right? So this opportunity is really cool because not only am I able to cash flow the entire time, but build an entire other business with a team already established, with revenue already established. And that's not going to be available for everybody. I'm again, extremely lucky. Luck is preparation, meets opportunity kind of thing. And, but hey, like even if you start doing services, that in and of itself is an amazing way to build your cash flow while working on a longer term business. Okay. I know Sam Ovens, I think, taught this for a bit, how to start a SaaS business by starting a digital agency. But it makes sense, man. Like, you're an entrepreneur. Why should you go fucking get a job or keep a job, right? To fund your business, that you're an entrepreneur and you're taking risk. Like, that's so counterintuitive in my opinion. Like, build your own cash flow opportunity and then funnel that into your actual business that you're trying to do long term. I'm not like used cars. That's not my long term thing. This is a business that I want to build up with the sheer intention of selling, cash flow that out and put it right into myself and into my real business, which is the Above Club. This is an amazing opportunity. And I know with the help of John and the help of the team that we might buy into, we can turn this thing around because there's lots of opportunity. But all that to be said, guys, like if you're starting, and because these are things that I'm thinking about every day. how can I sustain myself long enough and in a well cash flowing manner to ultimately be able to focus as much time as I want on, the above club. And this is it. Like, I think this is the solution for any entrepreneur out there. I see a lot of people, especially when they get into the more, short-term plays like drop shipping or SMA or Amazon FBA. Like, if you're seeing that as a short-term thing and you're just looking at cash flow from those three things, sure, keep your job until you can do it, because ultimately, that's not a long-term play, and you're just trying to do it for the cash flow. So reality, are you actually being a leader? Are you being the CEO? Are you being the entrepreneur? Or are you just trying to, make more of a freedom play? And if you're going for that, 9 times out of 10, you're not actually an entrepreneur. And I just, like, the people I see out there that, and I shouldn't say entrepreneur, but you're not a business builder. You're not looking to build a serious business. You're looking to build a lifestyle business, right? You're looking to build something that can just give you freedom. And in that case, like, it might be harder for you to go start another business for starting the other business. So take this with a grain of salt, because ultimately what I'm doing here still is inherently risky, but I'm getting cash flow much earlier on this than I am for my e-commerce business, which we're trying to grow and invest profits back in early stage, right? So yeah, that's kind of the update. Let me recap for you guys. First things first, if you have a team, make sure, if you're the CEO, if you're the leader, if not, make sure you're having that discussion with the CEO. What's our roles and responsibilities, and getting extremely clear. And one thing I didn't touch on actually is associate KPIs to that. When we're creating to relaunch, we don't really have these KPIs set, but I've told everybody their KPIs on, hey, when we're running the business now, here's what you're responsible for. And when we show up on these monthly calls we're going to be having, you're coming to the table saying, here's what I reported on, here's what we need to improve, here's ideas I got, what do you guys think? So associate KPIs with those roles and responsibilities. But make sure that's clear, because if you have even 2 people, it should be a 1 + 1 = 3 situation. In ours, we have 4. It should be a 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 = 16. Okay? Or at least 8. But like, it should be a 16 play on how quickly you guys can move, how diverse your skill set is, and how lean you can be, because you're not relying on any employees that don't have invested interests, or any consultants or agencies or freelancers. You guys should be able to move exponentially quicker than a 2-man team with equity versus a 4-man team all with equity in it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is man, like, it's not gonna be pretty. That's something that I'm realizing, but it's the way. You're not smart enough to know how things are gonna play out. Understand, if you have an intention and you wanna get somewhere, the universe is going to give you what you need to get there, but don't think that that's the wrong way. If a signal comes and you're like, this is an interesting opportunity, I didn't really, ask for this, but it seems like it might be able to get me to that spot. Don't discredit that opportunity. If that's given to you, take it. Like, the universe will give you opportunities. It just won't be in the manner that you always expect it to be, because the path to success isn't straight, man. We've been through so many hurdles and loops and hoops and whatever, and we barely launched. But yeah, so that's that. Second thing is last thing is, when you're cash flowing, build a lean, cash flow heavy business to fund your long-term business, right? Because e-commerce is a much more cash intensive. If you're trying to build a SaaS product, same thing. So you need cash flow, you need that inventory. Get something that's going to cash flow quickly and easily from day one. And that's a service-based business, in my opinion. And hey, if you get the opportunity, find someone that has the financing that wants to buy an existing business and run that and run this, and there you go. So that's this week's episode. It's a little bit longer just about to hit 30 minutes. Thank you guys. Like and subscribe for more.